In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Welcome to my review for Green Lantern the movie. As you can probably tell from the opening there with my fun expression and my generally cheerful voice at the moment, I fucking loved the movie. Starting off, I'm going to review it with no spoilers, so you don't need to worry until I say you need to worry, in which case you need to either leave or click on the thing that I'll probably put on screen to skip forward to the no spoilery bit. Going into the movie, the reviews just started coming out within the last few days. To say that they are negative would be accurate. The majority, about probably 70% at least of the reviews that I've read have been mainly negative, so I was worried. I was absolutely worried. It needs to be said that I'm a massive fan of Green Lantern, so of course there's a couple of things that could affect my judgment of the film. Am I going to be more critical because I know the source material and I love it and I have high expectations, or am I going to be less critical on the movie because I can forgive its bad points or something? Well, I like to think that I'm being quite objective. Really, literally don't see where most of the critics' points are coming from. Like they say, bad dialogue. It's not really bad dialogue, literally, and I really am truly a big fan of good dialogue, and it wasn't that bad. It's very cheesy in places, but this is a movie about light up rainbow spectrum coloured space police with thousands of aliens on a globe, on a universal scale. This is a massive, epic, cheesy, colourful superhero movie. Of course the dialogue's going to be a bit fruity, but I didn't even think it was that bad. Peter Sarsgaard plays one of the villains in the film, Hector Hammond. He is incredibly creepy. I think he's really good. He's deranged and really creepy in some scenes, and he's really good. I was really impressed with him. Mark Strong as Sinestro, brilliant, really good casting. There's just not enough of him, I found. Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan is basically like perfect. He's, he's as good as he is in any film, really. The general consensus is that people really like the guy, and yeah, he plays a Hal Jordan really well. Blake Lively as Carol Ferris. Now, when this casting announcement was made, I was actually quite apprehensive. Admittedly, I didn't know too much about Blake Lively, but yeah, just wasn't really mellowing to the whole idea. Actually was pleasantly surprised by her. Quite a sexy voice, she's a nice girl, and I actually really liked her portrayal of Carol Ferris. It was very faithful to the comics. It was awesome. There was everyone's saying the pacing's all over the place. No, didn't see that either. People say that, I've read one review in particular that said the first 20 minutes is amazing and the last 20 minutes is amazing, and then the rest of the film is crap. I was sitting there an hour in and I was thinking, I'm sure this has been a lot more than 20 minutes and the film's still awesome, and I've remained that way right up until the very end. There's some really cool battles, massive epicness, the scale is huge, but then also it's quite concentrated on Hal Jordan and the character on Earth as well, and his relationships with all the characters on Earth, who are all, not particularly any standouts, apart from the ones I've already mentioned, but they're all great. The CGI is absolutely fine, and in fact awesome for most of the film. I saw one scene where, actually no, to be fair, I saw one scene where I was like, but got over it 2 seconds later because it finished, and just one other scene where I was like, the background doesn't look amazing, but then that was over just as quickly. For the rest of it, it looks stunning. For the record, I didn't see it in 3D. Green Lantern has one of the most complicated and convoluted mythos of really any mainstream comic book, and so there is going to be a lot of information that the film tells you. In the prologue of the film, it gives a brief rundown of that, and all throughout the film you get a little bit more information. I certainly didn't think it was too much. Of course, I know it all already, but I didn't think it was too much. Claire, who is, well, I have talked to her a lot about Green Lantern, but she essentially never listens to me because I can get boring and too passionate to stand. But she said it was fine in terms of the information. She also really enjoyed the film. I mean, she said it was as good as Thor, and Thor was amazing. Do I think it's as good as Thor? Well, they are extremely different movies. Thor feels a lot more concentrated, and it does feel generally of a higher quality, just in terms of the direction is a little less bland, and it's just a little bit stronger. But I actually like the films probably equally, just because they're completely different. It's like comparing Pulp Fiction to Mary Poppins. That's not a good analogy. So yeah, amazing. I'm just going to skip into slightly spoiler territory now, but it's going to be very brief spoilers, and then I'll go into a third stage of epic spoilers. Click on the time near, and then you'll get to the bit with no spoilers. There's not enough Sinestro, I found. I was quite surprised at how little there was of him. In fact, there's maybe 20 to 25 minutes, I'd say, probably, of him on screen, if even that, which is a little bit of a shame because he did feel underused. Mark Strong played him incredibly well. He's a very strong character with a lot of grandeur about him. The Guardians of the Universe, they were really good because they are emotionless individuals. They are people who can't feel emotion, or not allowed to feel emotion, and in the film, yeah, they suit that perfectly. You could call them wooden, but that's who they are. So, and they're CGI, so they're like digital wood. Not like porn, but yeah. They slightly changed the origin of Parallax, which I love how they've changed the origin of Parallax. It almost feels more edible for the mass audience. Kilowog felt good. In fact, he was very good, voiced by Michael Clarke Duncan. Maybe the only thing is, again, there wasn't quite enough of him, and the training scene was just a little bit short and a little bit abrupt. That's really all I could say, but there was so much to pack into the film that, you know, it would have been difficult to do it any other way, really. So that's the end of the mildly spoilerific part. I'm going to do a epic spoiler bit now, so only really watch this bit if you've seen the film already or couldn't give less of a shit about it. I really strongly recommend, if you haven't seen it, to skip this bit and click on this bit on screen now. Epic spoilers. The scene after the credits, we all saw it coming. In the movie, they forge a yellow ring, and in the mid-credit scene, the yellow ring is being housed in a green energy ball. It's smashed open, and then Sinestro grabs it and puts on the ring, and he turns from green into yellow, and he's like, yeah, I'm a fucking hard ass, and his costume is fucking perfect. Like, this is the comic Yellow Lantern Sinestro costume, or rather, this is the new updated one. In the film, they do cover the yellow fear quite a lot, actually, and in fact they do show Parallax and the big yellow battery, basically, and when I saw that with the Sinestro Corps logo on the chest there, I absolutely fucking loved it as well. Brilliant. Hector Hammond dying was quite a shock. Parallax was just amazing. Of course, Parallax's origin is that he is a fallen guardian of the universe, forged the yellow power of fear, and it consumed him. He became this giant beast who feeds on other people's fear. Parallax gets stuck into Abin Sur, and then that's what infects Hector Hammond. So it links all of that overarching epic space stuff with the Earth stuff, which I thought was brilliant. Hi, welcome back. This is the non-spoiler bit. So yeah, I really couldn't, I absolutely adore Green Lantern, but as I said, my girlfriend really liked the film as well. Go in there with a fresh mind. I really hope you enjoy it, and I'm sure if you don't like it, there will be scenes that you at least find entertaining, and it's got a lot of action. You're not going to hate the film. You're really not. I hope. So I left the house, and I went downtown because I had a few errands to run. One of the first things that happened was that I walked past a toy store, and I'm a big fan of Lego, and there's a brand of Lego that's come out this year called Alien Conquest, and their new summer sets. I was walking past the toy shop and I saw them and I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. So I went in, had a look at them, and I was like, oh, these are fucking amazing. So that kind of was awesome. I don't have a job yet, so I can't afford them, but as soon as I do, I could theoretically just go in there and buy them instead of having to wait delivery time for Lego.com. So that kind of made me happy seeing them, because I've not seen them in the flesh before. Then I went to Game to get Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, and I was having a conversation with the guy in there, what I did was I traded in Rayman 3DS, and I also had quite a lot of money on my card, so I didn't have to put any money towards it in the end. But I had a nice chat with the game employee. He was like, yeah, oh, if you pre-ordered it, you could have got this gold cover with poster. And I was like, yeah, the thing is, I don't have a job, so, well, I didn't say that. I said I was not going to be able to afford it, which is why I didn't pre-order it. And I just didn't realise how much I had on my reward card. We had a nice little chat, did the transaction, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, I was just about to pick up my bag, and he said, because you're such a nice guy, and he slipped it in there. He said, oh, I'm going to give you this, and he put it in there. Gave me the pre-order bonus that you could only get from pre-ordering the game, which is a gold case and poster. So I was like, oh, fucking mate, thanks so much, blah blah blah. Shook his hand. I was like, yeah, put her there, mate. Fucking didn't say mate though. I was just like, yeah, you're a G or whatever. But I didn't say that either. But I was just like, yeah, I fucking want to have sex with you. But I didn't say that either. But I was just really happy with him, and I strolled out there, casual as you like, with a massive grin on my face. So that was brilliant. Then we watched Green Lantern, which was amazing, and I was like so happy with it. And it's very, oh, if you watch it, stay during the credits because there's a scene, but you don't have to stay to the very end, because I'd heard there was a comic advert at the very end, a special comic advert, and literally all it is one slide. I was like, was that it? Oh, by the way, there was a couple at the end of the cinema who also stayed to the very end. We were the final 4 remaining people in the cinema. I was like, hey, did you guys like it? And they were like, yeah, man, I loved it. And I was like, yeah, well, the review said it was shit, so I was kind of scared. And they were like, yeah, man, but we loved it. And he had a ring on as well, so he was loving life. And yeah, then we had a meal at an Italian restaurant, and I walked in and said, table for 1, please, and I had Claire with me, so that was embarrassing. Awkward situation. Yeah, then we had a meal, and I had one of my favourite Trey Gusty pizzas, and it was amazing, and I just got back and filmed this and had to rant at people on Facebook who are hating on the film. I now need to go into Green Lantern defense mode. See you on Monday. Lights out.